One of the great records of all time to start a nice programme, the Nightcaps, and that's Wine, 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 and no wine on this programme until it's over, of course, at midnight, and we get the rock show's Black Christmas. I'm looking forward to that too, but here at Peel Acres we've got Laura Cantrell and also Ball Boy. Great honour to have them all in the house. Laura, I don't know how many times she's been here. Third time, is it? Third time? And Ball Boy the first time, I think, in our house. And any number of interesting records and some rather tedious ones as well. Actually, that's probably not the case, but anyway, let's press on. This is Rude Ass Tinker. It's called Magical Digital.
Now
it too early to nominate an LP of the year 2004. This is going to be a contender, though. I think it's called Drug Skill on Death Chant Records, a compilation. This track's Rude Ass Tinker and Magical Digital. And the last time Laura Cantrell played in this house, she did Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, if my memory serves me correctly. And I mentioned at the time an excellent record by Al Ferrier, which is called Don't Play Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Blue eyes crying in the rain. That's the way he left her. He took all the love she gave, then walked away. I came along and picked up all the pieces of her heart. We were doing fine until today. And then my favorite station played Willie's song across the nation. It brought back all her memories again. Her love for him's no dying ember. Willie's song makes her remember. Don't play blue eyes crying in the rain. And then my favorite station played Willie's song across the nation. It brought back all her memories again. Her love for him's no dying ember. Willie's song makes her remember. Don't play blue eyes crying in the rain. Don't play blue eyes crying in the rain.
Well, that's what I call a country song. Al Ferrier and Don't Play Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. I should point out that in our house tonight, there are some 40 people or so, I think, and the drains are blocked. And it's also rather hot in the house as well. It's not a big house, but it's very country, particularly country tonight. So once again, I'm very pleased to welcome Laura Cantrell to our house. And, well, in your own time, Laura, whatever you're going to do.
Well, John, I just want to say happy holidays to you and thank you for having us here. We're so thrilled to be here. You know, backed up drain or no, we have no complaints.
Okay. That may not be the case before midnight, but anyway.
You know, you played a song about a Willie Nelson song, and we're going to now do a Willie Nelson song that was, I think, made popular by, what's the guy's name? I've now totally blanked on his name. Roy Orbison.
Oh, right.
Roy
yes.
Orbison.
That was a man. Yeah, okay.
It's a song called Pretty Paper.
Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Crowded streets, busy feet shuffle by him. Downtown shoppers, Christmas is nigh, and there he sits all alone on the sidewalk, hoping that you won't pass him by. Should you stop better not. It's much too busy. You're in a hurry. My, how time does fly. In the distance, a ringing of laughter. And in the midst of laughter, he cries. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write, I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Should you stop? Better not. It's much too busy. You're in a hurry. My, how time does fly. In the distance, a ringing of laughter. And in the midst of the laughter, he cries. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write, I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Pretty pencils to write, I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue.
Oh my goodness.
You just press ahead, I think.
Well, thank you, John. Let's see. My goodness. You know, I want to say also it's such a pleasure to have John Graboff here playing guitar with me. For people wondering out there how I might be doing so well on the guitar, it's not actually me. And we're going to try to do a song. You know, I tried to write a song for this show, John, that I've actually been struggling along with the holiday song for several years, and I thought, what better occasion than this holiday radio broadcast? So we're going to try this one. It's called The New Year's Resolution. See what you think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Last year's New Year's resolution was to forget some of the trouble that we had. January told me, and old February showed me it was much harder than I ever planned. Well, it's better not to worry about the money or that big job we hope is just around the bend. And you'll stop looking in the mirror, 'cause it's only getting clearer. That old weary look just wants to settle in. So I made myself a list, wrote it in my book, marked one in my heart, and December had things I wanted never seem to last, as one more new year slips into the past. All the things we take for granted. Oh, don't you know that we'll be laughing once again, and we'll be raising up our glasses as another season passes, surrounded by our family and friends. So when you make yourself a list, write it in your book, mark one in your heart. Next December, take a look. All the things you wanted, tell me, did they really last? As one more new year slips into the past. Yes, as one more new year slips into the past.
Everybody, it's so sweet.
That's enough. That's enough. You've got more. More work to do before we're through. That's Laura Cantrell, joined, obviously, as she pointed out, John Grayboff on guitar. And for more information on Laura and her music, you can go to www.lauracantrell.com. Or if you want to hear more of the actual music, you can stay listening to this programme. And we've also got Ball Boy coming up later on as well. And the local bell ringers are coming in, I think, at some stage. And at the other end of the house, it's not a big house, but it does have two ends. And at the other end of the house, people are going to be singing carols very shortly, including Laura, I think. So everybody's got a stampede. You've all got to move to the other end of the house, except me. I just keep things going at this end. In the meantime, this is Can. This is such a spooky way of doing a programme. A couple of minutes ago I was in a room with 25, 30, 35 other people. Now I'm in a room on my own. That was Can, and a 7-inch single from a very long time ago, their version of Silent Night. And this next comes from an LP which arrived during the week. It's called Cold Mountain, music from the Miramax motion picture, and it features Jack White, amongst others, and it's one of Jack's tunes that we're going to play now. In fact, he's played in this room, as regular listeners will know, and perhaps he will again one of these days. I certainly would like that. This is called Never Far Away.
Talking through my wounds that are bleeding out for you. Talking through my wounds, walking home to you. I listen when I can. I listen when I can. To this picture of you I carry in my hand. It lets me hear you say you're never far away. Beneath my heels in the road obeys commands from me and serves me as I go. And though it helps me know you're never far away, I can't help wondering how you might feel about me today. Hey, to let me know. Hey, to let me know. Me back, or is it better if I go? Will you want me back? Hey, to let me know that Carolina wind, Carolina wind, it blows in my eyes and makes me realize the trouble that I'm in. Carolina wind. Beneath my heels in the road obeys commands from me and serves me as I go. And though it helps me know you're never far away, I can't help wondering how you might feel about me today. Stream, and you will hear me say you're never far away. You're never far away. Never far away.
Jack White wrote it, Jack White sang it, and that's Never Far Away. It's from the soundtrack of the film Cold Mountain, and there are some new Sting songs in there as well, so that's all right. But it's time to go to the other end of the house, where our carol singers hopefully are gathered. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, they will now sing to you as carol singers will.
Come and behold him.
Right, okay. Well, that was very moving indeed, I have to say. And I was trying to pick out individual voices from the other end of the house. And
Pete and Stuart giggling.
was it? And I think our Williams' partner Zara, I think I heard giggling immoderately there as well. But more from the choir later on. Of course, a deeply spiritual bunch of people, as you can probably tell. And shortly we'll be hearing from the Handbell Ringers. But before that, I'll play you a record by some absent friends, really. At the end, towards the end of last year, perhaps at the beginning of this, I rather lost track of time. Greatly enjoyed stuff from both the Datsuns and the D4 from New Zealand, and then they went back to New Zealand, and it's been a long time since we heard from them. This is the D4, Don't Believe in Christmas. Oh, sorry about that. That's based on Chuck Berry's Too Much Monkey Business, and those were the D4, Don't Believe in Christmas. And back to the other end of the house, where I think the local Handbell Ringers are waiting to spring into action. Are they there?
We're here.
Okay, in your own time then, gang.
Merry Christmas.
And that shouting was a meet again. But our thanks to the Handbell Ringers, and a donation will be made to them for local charities, children's charities, as I understand it, although I'm not exactly sure which ones. And we're going to be hearing from Ball Boy shortly, but before that, a record. And I was looking in the Independent last Friday, and in their rock and pop section, Jamie McNair heard from the stars of the music scene about the songs that most summon up the Christmas spirit for them. Alas, Sting wasn't consulted on this occasion, but Johnny Marr was, and he waxed enthusiastic about this track, and rightly so.
Tonight.
And that's Darlene Love from Phil Spector's classic A Christmas Gift for You, and a version of Winter Wonderland. And now we welcome Ball Boy to Peel Acres. And first of all, well, welcome to Peel Acres. And thank you, amongst other. I don't want to get too Bob Harris-like about this, but thank you for all of the excellent records that you've made over the past few years. And now you're on your own, essentially, actually.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm just, it's a pleasure to be with you, pleasure to be with Laura. Thank you very much for having us. This is called, there are only inches between us, but there might as well be mountains and trees, which it's probably too long a title, but that's the title, so anyway, hope you like it. It's hard enough to breathe for myself, darling, I cannot breathe for you as well. But with my last breath, I will give you my last kiss. But I cannot breathe for you as well. And there are only inches between us, but there might as well be mountains and trees. In this lonely distance between us, there are cities and oceans and seas. And you and me, you and me, you and me, dying gently in our sleep. And it's hard enough to die upon my knees. Darling, what is it that you want from me? Is it not enough for you that I would die upon my knees? Darling, what is it that you want from me? And there are only inches between us, but there might as well be mountains and trees. In this lonely distance between us, there are cities and oceans and seas. And you and me, you and me, you and me, dying gently in our sleep. And these could be the best days of our lives. Wait and see, darling, these could be the best days of our lives. But if these are the best days of our lives, why don't we go back home to bed and die gently in our sleep? And there are only inches between us, but there might as well be mountains and trees. In this lonely distance between us, there are cities and oceans and seas. And you and me, you and me, you and me, dying gently in our sleep. And there are only inches between us, but there might as well be mountains and trees. In this lonely distance between us, there are cities and oceans and seas. And you and me.
Just press on. You got a bit of guitar exchange.
Thank you.
Okay.
Last time we did this, we took too long. There was a big panic about dead air, so
We always have to worry about that because
just witter through the gaps.
if there is dead air, we get an emergency tape kicks in London with probably the Sting.
I was going to say Sting.
Yeah, I think very likely. If it's not Sting, it's somebody very, very likely.
This is called Past Lovers. I remember when it started in the thunderstorms and darkness, and we stood together in a room and waited for the night, and the silence gathered round us semi-naked in the darkness, and you put a finger to your lips and said to me just this: let's not talk about the others, let's not talk about past lovers. All the history you bring to me has melted like the snow. So don't talk about the others, and don't talk about past lovers. There are things you have inside of you that I don't want to know. And I'm sitting drunk at midnight with the memories of my life, and I'm wondering what changes came to make me feel so old. But before the sadness claims me, and before the darkness takes me, my vague memory allows me one more picture of your lips. As you say, don't talk about the others, and don't talk about past lovers. All the history you bring to me has melted like the snow. Let's not talk about the others, let's not talk about past lovers. There are things you have inside of you it's better not to know. So don't talk about the others, let's not talk about past lovers. It's the silence that you bring to me that's the greatest thing of all. Let's not talk about the others, let's not talk about past lovers. It's the silence that you bring to me that's the greatest thing of all.
Unmistakably Ball Boy in this live programme from Peel Acres, and more from them obviously later on. There are Gordon McIntyre on vocals and guitar, Nick Reynolds on bass, Gary Morgan on drums, Caroline Evans on violin, and Caroline's also been accompanying the carols and will do so again, along with Pete Harvey from the band Desk, who've got a new EP here, actually, 4 songs by Desk it's called, whereas the previous one was called Metamorphoses, so a more modest title for this one, but I look forward to hearing it. And if you want to know more about Ball Boy, then you go to www.ballboy.co.uk www.ballboy.org for a feast of information, it says here. And it says also that Pete Harvey out at desk plays cello on the Ball Boy album, so it's all immensely incestuous. And at the end of the programme, we all go upstairs and pile into one gigantic bed together. And they have bought me a Christmas present. I was told he was ill-mannered on me not to open it now, so shall I open it now?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
All right. This is a sound effects disc, because I'm sure... that looks... I certainly recognise the colour scheme there. Let's have a look at that. Hold on a minute. It's a T-shirt, listeners, by the way, for those of you who are wondering what the hell is going on. And that's superhuman. Hibernian. Okay, and I think probably large enough for me to get into, too, with Peel written on the back of it. Well, thank you very much for that. It's a very handsome shirt. And how about a round of applause for the shirt, everybody? Ideal for the pear-shaped man, so that's really kind.
You to wear it every time you're on the telly, but
okay, all right. Well, that fortunately doesn't happen very often. So, anyway, more from Ball Boy later on. In the meantime, though, this is Elephant Man.
Mad people Christmas, come we dance it down. Christmas about man a live. And you know we not look it from man. Mad, tell them do not make me the cake. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Naughty bally man no play, naughty man no play, nothing not man no play, nothing not man no play, nothing not man the way when you're break. And you know we not look it from man. Get man now, now no either east, now no either west, now no either north. Man from south, now no show your part. Do not make me rot, try no set it up. When me pop it off, find the boy a fraud, man a piece of lot. Now you say you salt, and no feel with father warrior now go out. Now you better run like a cherry malt. Man from Polish town over high rise, now no teeth, no nose, now no ears, no eyes. Oh no surprise, Christmas about man a live. And you know we not look it from man. Give them the name now. Tell them do not make me the cake. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Give them the name now. Naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Smooth man no play. Magic man no play. Find them out of the way we get break. And you know we not look it from man. Me keep the ego, it up and go so run. And I throw you in the trigo. Now them surprise me think about pan rapido. Boom, can fly like missile and torpedo. Say a Kingston and done a boy a Montego. Man a Ogo man and all calling me amigo. Load it up all the way. Them a hotel Grand Lido. Ligo where you free go. Come a barber where you ligo. Show no this me friend ego. Mad thing, Christmas about man a live. And you know we not look it from man. Tell them do not make me the cake. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Cambridge, naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Bushmouth man no play. Brazilian man no play. So come out of the way we get the break. And you know we not look it from man. You have been brave to go there. Mountain View Road, boy not take that road there. See the new IP a bill up out a south there. Some I know you are straight. I know it no out there. Dunkirk they are East Bellevue they down there. Too much madman a ling. So them have to put house there. Rate on no head only pass Sunday. Cause the only pass Sunday all it's play down there. Now run up your mouth there. Get mad now. Christmas about man a live. Should I hear? And you know we not look it from man. Tell them do not make me the cash. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Man thing. Naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Smooth man no play. Magic man no play. Come out of the way when we a break. And you know we not look it from man. Alright. Now no either east, now no either west, now no either north. Man from south, now no shoulder part. Do not make me rot, try not set it up. When me pop it off, find the boy a fraud, pan a piece of lot. Now you say you salt, and no feel with father warrior now go out. Now you better run like a cherry malt. Man from Polish town over high right. Now no teeth, no nose, now no ears, no eyes. Oh no surprise, Christmas about man a live. And you know we not look it from man. Tell them do not make me root the cake. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Smooth man no play. Magic man no play. Come out of the way when we a break. And you know we not look it from man. Me the ego, pit up and go so and I threw them in the trigo. Now them surprise me think about pan rapido. Boom, all fly like missile and torpedo. Say a Kingston and done a boy a Montego. Man a Ogo man and all calling him amigo. Load it up all the way. Them hotel Grand Lido. Ligo where you free go. Come a barber where you ligo. So know this me friend ego. Get mad now. Christmas about man a live. And you know we not look it from man. Tell them do not make me the cash. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Come on. Naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Smooth man no play. Magic man no play. Come out of the way when we a break. And you know we not look it from man. Christmas about man a live. That's true. And you know we not look it from man. Merry Christmas. Tell them do not make me root the cake. Uptown. We take you out of your bed when you're down. Naughty bally man no play. Jungle man they no play. Bushmouth man no play. Magic man no play. Come out of the way when we a break. And you know we not look it from man. the choir. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year when it comes to shiver. Yo, youngsters all over. Yeah, this one is the Christmas anthem. Cold Face.
Very strange record indeed. That's Elephant Man, pre-release in Kingston, Jamaica. Bad Man Holiday is the title of it. And this next is a new single, first in far too long, actually, from Mellis. And what excellent people they are indeed, in addition to making excellent records. And this will be released sometime early in 2004. It's called Eyeliner. I think that's the tune we're going to hear again before a few more times before next year is out. That's Mellis, and a forthcoming single from them, which is called Eyeliner. And now we go to the other end of the house, to the room that we rather effectively call the sunroom. And I think my daughter Alexandra is going to call for a popular local favourite to lead the singing of the next carol. Danda, it's over to you.
George!
What a fish there.
Royal David City.
Undertaken, as you could tell, in a deeply spiritual kind of context. That's Once in Royal David City by Al Quar, and the loveliest voice in there with respect to our visitors, I think, that of our Sheila, but recently returned from her success in a local production, Carmen. And this is Scott Brown. Marked contrast, really, here.
You're as cold as ice. You're as cold as ice. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice.
Bit of Famous Flames action. This is Hey America. Before that, it was Scott Brown and Ice Cold, as he styles it. And we're back at this end of the house, and it's going to be more from Ball Boy with Laura, actually, I think. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to be happening, so I'll just fade myself down here and let them explain it.
Hello, we're Ball Boy. We're going to play a Christmas song, which is called A Starry Night, and then we're going to play a song with Laura as well, which we're honoured to have her and John play along on. This is a song that it has actions, which is not good in the radio, but at the bit where it says King of All the World, just make up your own actions, I think. That's good, wholesome family entertainment, I think. And unless you're in the band, in which case just play the parts you're supposed to play. This is called A Starry Night. On a starry night, when the hills were bright, earth lay sleeping, sleeping calm and still. Then in a cattle shed, in a manger bed, a boy was born, king of all the world. Angels sang for him, the bells of heaven rang for him, for a boy was born, king of all the world. And all the angels sang for him, the bells of heaven rang for him, for a boy was born, king of all the world. Soon the shepherds came that way, where the baby lay, and when kneeling by his side, and their hearts believed again, for the peace of men, for a boy was born, king of all the world. And all the angels sang for him, the bells of heaven rang for him, for a boy was born, king of all the world. And all the angels sang for him, the bells of heaven rang for him, for a boy was born, king of all the world. On a starry night, when the hills were bright, earth lay sleeping, sleeping calm and still. Then in a cattle shed, in a manger bed, a boy was born, king of all the world. Quick change for us. I'm worried about Sting.
He'll be a long late.
Yeah, not just now. I'm generally worried about Sting, but this is a song to ward off winter blues and Sting jumping on the radio. This is a song called I Lost You, but I Found Country Music. I'm genuinely thrilled to have Laura sing on it and have John play along. I'm going to dedicate this to Katie Griffiths, who's not here tonight, and we wish she could be, but she's not, so this is for you.
But I found country music. I I found country music to hold me and soothe me the way you used to do.
And I miss you, but luckily there's music. Luckily there's music to get me through.
I think of you every day of my life, and every day I miss you and wonder and guess what you are listening to.
Every day I miss you and wonder and guess what you are listening to. What you are listening to. What you are listening to.
Very nice too. Ball Boy with Laura Cantrell. And more from both of them before the end of the programme, I think. This is Don Gibson.
Instead of having sweet dreams about you. You don't love me, it's plain. I should know you'll never wear my name. I should hate
This is the excellent Skynet, forthcoming release from him. Skyway is the title of it. Before that it was Don Gibson and Sweet Dreams. Let me remind you that tomorrow night's programme, 10 to midnight here on Radio 1, with the first half of the Festive 50 and one or two other records besides. And then on Christmas Day you get numbers 25 to number 1 in the Festive 50. Then at the beginning of January you get Cinerama in session, something else that I've forgotten but we'll be reminded of before the programme is out. And then on the Thursday, being written, how could I have forgotten? Got a new session from the band Fuck. And then on the Thursday of that week we go to Groningen, and hey, here's a band from Groningen. And that comes from an EP called Shikari, which is also the name of the band, and they're from Groningen, and that's where we're going to be in the first week of next year. And in case Shikari doesn't sound like a very Dutch word to you, it is actually, it sounds more Japanese, but it is in fact a Dutch word meaning a beaded bag containing string. And it's now time for us to go to the Sunroom again for the choir, who are going to be delighting us with their rendition of While Shepherds Wash Their Flocks. Are they there? Are you there, choir? Oh dear, oh dear. Okay.
City
Contributing substantially to religious debate in the country, I think, in the next year. That's the Welsh Shepherds Wash their flocks by night. Some of our choir, I think I better fade them down in case they say something they'd rather not have said. And another track now, which is selected with help from the Independent from last Friday, when they asked various famous musicians and so forth which record was their favourite Christmas record. And Robert Plant, I haven't liked all of his records, but I used to love Led Zeppelin, obviously, and a fairly sound man when it comes to music. And he picks Elvis's version of Santa Claus is Back in Town and says it's precocious, horny and ridiculous, and he got me away from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when I was about 12. Does Elvis sing it lasciviously? Absolutely. And then he quotes the lyrics, got no sleigh with reindeer, no pack on my back. You're going to see me coming in a big black Cadillac. Hang up your pretty stockings and turn off the light. Santa Claus is coming down your chimney tonight.
Christmas.
Know what you mean.
Christmas. Christmas.
And the snow is falling on the ground.
Christmas.
Well, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. And the snow is falling down. Well, you be a real good little girl. Santa Claus is back in town. Got no sleigh with reindeer, no sack on my back. You gonna see me coming in a big black Cadillac. Oh, the Christmas time, pretty baby. And the snow is falling on the ground. Well, you be a real good little baby. Santa Claus is back in town. Hang up your pretty stockings, turn off the light. Santa Claus is coming down the old chimney tonight. Oh, Christmas time, baby. And the snow is falling on the ground. Well, you be a real good little baby. Santa Claus is back in town.
That's Elvis and his version of Santa Claus is Back in Town, and thank you for picking that, Robert, even if it was for the Independent and not for this programme. He'll probably be listening. Decent fella. Right, time now for the Pig's Big 78, because even on a special night like tonight, we don't want to miss out on that. And one of the oldest records in the collection, I think, Pig, this. Actually, do you want to introduce it? And most appropriate it is, too.
A Christmas Ghost Story by Mr. H. Lambton.
Pretty much incomprehensible, this, but I should warn you, listeners, if you don't quite understand what's going on, you are not alone.
It was Christmas Eve. I sat with my uncle before a blazing fire, listening to the distant sound of church bells. I loathed Christmas, and I had come to spend it with my uncle, chiefly in the hopes of softening his heart towards helping me out of my financial difficulties. I met with greater success than I had dared hope for, and a substantial cheque was safely reposing in my pocket. We chatted quietly for some time, then sat in silence. A drowsiness came over me, and I fell asleep. I was wakened by a sound like the explosion of a firework. I sat up. The room was in darkness, and a feeling of fear came over me. Presently faint, but ever drawing nearer, came the sound of steps along the passage. Then I heard 3 loud raps on the door. Slowly, the the door opened, and a hand came through. A yellow, bony hand which beckoned me, and a hollow voice said, "Follow me." I rose, impelled by some force outside myself, and went out. All I could see was the ghastly beckoning hand, and all I could hear was the awful voice crying, "Follow me." On we went, with fearful Spectre and I, till we were outside in a long, dark lane. I tried to go back, but the hand beckoned, and the voice rose to a loud groan as it cried, "Follow me." We came at length to what looked like a deep well, over which the hand stayed pointing, and from which came the most diabolical groans and screams it is possible to imagine. I fell on my knees, cowering on the ground, till the voice cried, "Follow me." Look inside. Shuddering and gasping, I looked into the awful caravan. I gave a yell. The place was full of the most awful forms of men and women, all with ghastly yellow eyes, peering up at me, and long bony arms outstretched. I tried to get away, but the hand seized me with a grip that froze my blood. "Look and listen," said the voice. I gazed at the loathsome faces, and above their screams and groans I caught the words, "Hey, hey, hey," and the voice I had followed echoed, "Hey, hey, hey, these are the souls of those who have not paid their debts. Hey, hey." Then suddenly with a hiss and a roar, the rain came down and a thunder rattled. I was alone, and I ran as I have never run before. With a frightful gasp, I opened my eyes. Instinctively my hand went to my breast pocket, where I had placed the check. Thank goodness it was safe. Surely there was a storm. I could hear rain and thunder, but no. It was only the kettle hitting fiercely on the fire, and my uncle snoring loudly in his chair.
What a deeply strange record that is, too. And it comes from Mr. H. Lambton. A Christmas Ghost Story is the title of it. And as I say, a very old record indeed on the Twin label. And tonight's Pigs 78. No, actually, on the Zonophone Twin record label, but no date on it, alas. But I bet there's somebody, though, who could tell me when that was released. It just says English, descriptive on the label. And this next is from Mr. Airplane Man. And the lead track on it, in fact, new LP, it's called Come On, DJ.
DJ, my soul, peace
title track from the new LP by Mr. Airplane Man on Sympathy for the Record Industry Records, and Come On DJ is the title of it, and some more tunes now from Laura. Before that, though, I was told that I should open my present.
Oh, would you like to open it?
Yeah,
now?
because I was told that you wanted to see my face. Nobody suggested that in at least 40 years. So,
I would say if you have limited time, go for the big one.
The big one.
That's the one
okay.
we're most concerned with.
Concerned. Okay, all right. This is grotesquely self-indulgent.
This is I'm just going to describe for your listening audience.
Oh,
it's a
wow.
12 inch by 12 inch square wrapped in pretty Christmas wrap.
What could that be?
What could it be?
Fantastic. A complete set of Gene Vincent records. Magnificent. Original. Oh, this is magnificent. I've got other copies of these. Very badly scratched over the years.
Well, we thought that yours might have been a little worn out, and you might want a pretty clean-looking copy.
And with this one, Gene Vincent Rocks and the Blue Caps Roll, I've got one, but with that part of the cover missing. so to have, I don't know what I did. I probably kissed it to pieces. but having done that, can I open the little one as well?
Of course, yes, the little one.
That's fantastically kind of you. I'm enormously grateful for that. I just love Gene Vincent. He was. I saw him at the Liverpool Empire, and when he was absolutely at the peak of his form, and. Well, I should burst into tears if I tell you. Goodness me. The sounds of the Northeastern freeform DJ, the biological significance of those voices in your head. Okay. And this is linked to your work at WFMU, and we have your sticker.
I know, I see it up
okay.
there. I'm glad it still has a place of honor up here on the pale wall.
I shall listen to this very carefully. Thank you, Laura. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, I'll now fade myself out and leave you to take over.
Well, I want to just, we're going to do a song that is on our last album called Oh So Many Years, and we've tucked a little Christmas theme into it just to make it appropriate for the occasion. But, we're on a fine Scottish record label, the Shoeshine record label. We just want to say hello and Merry Christmas to all our friends up in Scotland as we do this song tonight.
For these many years I've loved you, no one has ever known. No one has ever known but you alone. We've kept it locked inside our hearts and smiled through all the tears. My darling, I have loved you so many years. Each night within my lonely room I cry, dear, over you. I pray someday that things will work out right. And when the dawn of day appears, I brush away the tears. My darling, I have loved you so many years. Maybe fate will lead us down a path where we will meet again, and we will both be free to love anew. Then one sweet kiss from your dear lips will banish all my tears. My darling, I have loved you so many years. Oh, my darling, I have loved you so many years.
Thank you. I know it's a bit of a stretch adding the We Three Kings on at the end, but you know, we thought it might be nice to have Gordon come and join us since he had us come and sing and play on his beautiful song. And you know, John, we've had a tough year in country music this year. You know, I have on the Radio Thrift Shop many Saturday afternoons have had to turn it into the radio funeral parlor for the all the departed great ones of country music, including your favorite Don Gibson. That
well,
we
that's
heard.
I put that track in because we were talking about it before.
Yeah, we heard in the
just
show.
to show you how quick I was to react to.
But you know, we have a song actually by the great Johnny Cash that we'd like to do because he's certainly probably one of the most important ones that we said goodbye to this year. So.
At my door the leaves are falling. A cold wild wind will come. Sweethearts walk by together, and I still miss someone. Oh, I go out on the party and look for a little fun, but I find a darkened corner, for I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes, and I see them everywhere.
I miss those arms that held me when all of the love was there.
Well, I wonder if she's sorry for leaving what we'd begun. And there's someone for me somewhere, and I still miss someone. I still miss someone.
We want to thank Ballboy for being game.
Fantastic. Laura Cantrell and Gordon out of Ball Boy. And I was wondering whether you were going to do 5 Foot High and Rising. Do you know that one? How high's the water, Mama? That, perhaps save that one
Perhaps
for...
if you'd like to do it, John.
No, save it till later, I think. Okay, but thanks very much indeed to Ball Boy and Laura Cantrell and, well, to everybody concerned, really, for an extraordinary evening, and to John Grayboff as well for a beautiful guitar playing. Thank you very much indeed. Here's something rather noisy.
Who's there? Kill your time when it's all fast. Get down on your knees.
those are the Buddy Hollies, and track from an LP of theirs, which I've been sent actually earlier on CD. It didn't sound nearly as good on CD as it does on vinyl. I know that sounds ridiculous, but seems to be true. That's Yeah Yeah, and this is on vinyl as well, actually. George Nooks and Bounty Killer.
Angry, miserable. Hey, yo, hello. You know, it's Bounty Killer, the 5-star general, the ghetto gladiator, along with George Nooks. Him got them party hooks. Hey, never take it by looks with the books.
I'm feeling the party vibe. Friday night, and I just got paid.
You gotta keep
I got my money and a pretty lady, ready to ride, so I'm on my way. It ain't every day I feel this vibe so when it comes out roll. I'm a party animal when I step up in the club, I'm under control.
Up your with bumper, them there we come for. Y'all, black slim out round, give me the one with thumper. Party going on and tomorrow hit a over. Step up in the club and go straight to the counter. Because not by y'all all now give me number. Grab me pants front, she want feel the lumber. It's right on me, she want go bumper to bumper. Want feel the clump, yeah.
I'm feeling the party.
I'm feeling
it's Friday night and I just got paid.
You know,
got my money and a pretty lady, ready to ride, so I'm on my way. It ain't every day I feel this vibe so when it comes out roll.
Like right.
I'm a party animal when I step up in the club, I'm on the
Trust me, can't describe it. One piece of vibes it. If you feel no music, me prescribe it. I no sleep no private. The vibes don't hide it, ya know. Don't try to bite nor bribe it. We no hesitate. The party straight, ya know. Even if we reach our work late, I take down by your slate. There's no need no debate, ya know. Natural vibes are recreate, George.
All my ladies in the club, I want you to feel the vibe.
Girls.
Hands in the head,
Yeah, all my ladies, let me see you around the dance floor. Let me hear you scream out the more. So I'm feeling the party.
I'm feeling the
It's
vibes,
Friday
baby.
night,
Come
and
over,
I just
Dolly.
got paid. Dolly got my money and a pretty lady, ready to ride, so I'm on my way. It ain't every day I
the
feel
girls
this
must come up in
vibe
this
so
table.
when it comes out roll.
But it's a big fat
I'm a
table.
party animal when I step up in the club, I'm under control.
We party non-stop. Now watch your clock. Yeah, you want short last sleep nearly a drop. Still champagne and pop. Reggae hard hip hop. When someone's a play me and a gal go laugh. You no fear. Got one me fear. Anywhere the party keep, I'll be there. With a far way down here. Into the tone, I read the spear. Well, as you quit me, I'm 10 gal up here. Well,
I'm feeling the party vibes. It's Friday night
the ladies
and I
up in
just
this
got
joint,
paid. I got my money and a pretty lady, ready to ride, so I'm on my way. It ain't every day I feel this vibe, so when it comes out roll. I'm a party animal when I step up in the club, I'm under control.
hot girl with bumper. Them me come for. Tall, black, slim or brown. Give me the one with thumper. Party going on and tomorrow hit a over. Charge in the club and go straight to the counter. Because that poor girl hard not give me number. Grab me pants front, she want feel the lumber. We smile on me, she want go bumper to bumper. She want feel the plump, yeah, George.
I'm feeling the party vibe. It's Friday night and I just got paid. I got my money and a pretty lady, ready to ride, so I'm on my way. It ain't every day I feel this vibe, so when it comes out roll. I'm a party animal when I step up in the club, so I'm under control.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Yo, I'm just feeling it. It's all on the 5-star general and Mr. George Nooks. You know we do it by the books. We don't take it by the looks. You know it's a party up in here. It's a party, right? You know.
Another fine tune. That's George Nooks and Bounty Killer, and Party Vibe is the title of that one. And incidentally, the Buddy Hollies LP was called Fire at Will. I forgot to mention that at the time. And we're back at the other end of the house with the choir, and this time we're going to take a chance on their doing a sort of medley, really. Well, 2 tunes anyway, and how it's going to work out, time alone will tell. There seems to be some dispute about it at the other end. Are you listening, choir? Go on, get on with it, and then I'll unblock the drains for you.
Sing
You're supposed to be doing another one, you know, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic stuff from our choir here at Peel Acres, and all I can do is endorse their wishes. We've had another great night here, family, friends, and Ball Boy, of course, and Laura Cantrell, and John Grayboff as well. And I'm going to end this programme with one of my favourites, not a Christmas record exactly, but a winter record, unquestionably, and regular listeners will know what to expect, I think. This is Stylus. Fades in with the sound of wind.
Last year, too. I made a snowman and my brother knocked it down, and I knocked my brother down, and then we had tea. Shaken from whitewashed buckets down the sky, it came shoaling out of the ground and swam and drifted out of the arms and hands and bodies of the trees. Snow grew overnight on the roofs of the houses like a pure and grandfather moss, minutely ivied the walls and settled on the postman opening the gate like a dumb, numb thunderstorm of white, torn Christmas cards. Sprinkling eyes and wind-cherry noses on spread frozen feet. They crunched up to the doors and mittened on them menacingly. But all that the children could hear was the ringing of bells. You mean that the person when rat-a-tat-tat the doors rang? I mean that the bells that the children could hear were inside them. I only hear thunder sometimes, never bells. There were church bells inside. No, in the black snow-white belfries tugged by bishops and storks. And they rang their tidings over the bandaged town, over the frozen foam of the powder and ice cream hills, over the crackling sea. It seemed that all the churches boomed for joy under my window, and the weathercocks crew for Christmas on our fence. Get back to the postmen. They were just ordinary postmen, fond of walking and dogs and Christmas and the snow. They knocked on the doors with blue knuckles. Ours was black. And then they stood on the white welcome mat in the little drifted porches and huffed and puffed, making ghosts with their breath, and jogged from foot to foot like small boys wanting to go out.
This is Stylus with the voice, I think, of Dylan Thomas. 7-inch single on Oka Records. Our thanks too to Pete Harvey, by the way, of Desk, for accompanying the carol singers, and as always to Andy, George and Guy for taking care of the technical business at this end. And of course, as always, thanks to you for listening. Don't forget Festive 50 tomorrow night and the night after. Good night.
Radio 1. Digital FM. Online. Radio 1.
At 12 midnight, it's Leon Robbins.
One person's died and dozens are injured in a coach crash.
Radio 1. Newsbeat.
A driver's been killed and around 50 people injured in a crash between a coach and a Land Rover. It happened on the A386 near Godalming in Surrey. 20 ambulances were sent to the scene. Rowan Roberts is from Surrey Fire Service.
The driver of the Land Rover very unfortunately appeared to be dead. There were a number of quite seriously injured people, but the majority of people were affected by shock and minor injuries.
A teenager convicted of one of the Washington sniper killings has escaped the death penalty. The jury decided Lee Boyd Malvo should get life in prison because he'd been influenced by his older accomplice, John Allen Muhammad. Michael Jackson's been told to hand back his passport immediately if he's not coming to the UK to promote his new album. He's facing charges of molesting a 14-year-old boy in California. Newsbeat's LA reporter Peter Bowes says the court only let him keep it because his lawyer said he was under contract to visit Britain.
Well, if it eventually comes out that there were no such contracts, or if Michael Jackson ends up going to Britain just for a Christmas holiday, that means someone wasn't telling the truth, and the courts could try to punish him for that.
A former British soldier has been jailed for 6.5 years for his part in an IRA attack on an army base in Germany. 39-year-old Michael Dixon was one of 5 people who fired mortar bombs at the barracks in Osnabrück. The British backpacker who was freed by kidnappers in Colombia is about to catch a flight back to the UK. 32-year-old Mark Henderson was held prisoner for more than 100 days by a rebel gang. Ozzy Osbourne will spend Christmas in a private clinic after